Welcome everyone to the CDO Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President of Sandro Consultants, and I'm coming today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ Symposium, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers. Today, I'd like to welcome Sandro Saitta, Chief Industry Advisor at the Swiss Data Science Center. Welcome, Sandro.
Thank you, Robert. It's a great pleasure to be here. Very happy.
We are delighted to spend some time with you today. If I may, I'd like to start out with a couple of background questions to get our audience a little bit more familiar with you and the Data Science Center, the Swiss Data Science Center, I should say. So I noticed that when I was reviewing your bio, you've got an outstanding track record in data science. And the first thing that I noticed is that you co-founded the Swiss Association for Analytics just over 8 years ago. Could you help our audience understand why you co-founded this association?
Yes, of course. I think it started about 10 years ago. I was invited to an event about analytics in Belgium. I attended the event, I met a lot of people, learned a lot. And in the plane back to Switzerland, I thought, well, we should do the same here. And at that time, there was not a lot of meetup about analytics. My goal was really to have a common place for people to learn and exchange about data science and machine learning. And the journey was quite amazing, right? We had to build a team, define topics, find speakers, sponsors, and so on. So this was quite challenging, but also great. We met a lot of people, we learned a lot. And that was very motivating when people, are happy about events, when they say, I learned something today, I met someone interesting and so on. And I personally also learned a lot from it, right? Pain point from companies, machine learning applications, the job market, and so on. So this is really a great journey so far.
It's great when you can actually point to those events where you actually do learn something and you take away some value add. So I'm really happy to hear about that. I also understand that when you talk about, you learn a lot of the requirements and you learn a lot of pain points, that this led you to your current position as Chief Industry Advisor at the Swiss Data Science Center. Could you maybe provide a little background about the Swiss Data Science Center and your role there?
Yes, of course. So, I do believe indeed that past activities helped me somehow to reach my current position at the center. And I like to say that now I'm also promoting data science in Switzerland, but I'm paid for that. Well, the scope of the Swiss Data Science Center is much broader, right? So it's an initiative from the Swiss Confederation between two key universities in Switzerland, EPFL in Lausanne and ETH in Zurich. And we have received the main mission to accelerate the adoption of data science in Switzerland. So that's quite broad. We do a lot of things. We do academic projects where we help labs with our machine learning expertise. We develop the open source Renku platform to make data science more reproducible. And we also have industry collaboration. And my role at the center is to lead the team in charge of industry collaboration, to define a bit the strategy. How do we help companies? What are the right means to support these companies in becoming more data-driven? And I also think about, what we are going to do in the future for industry collaboration. So in the end, my dream is to really have, in Switzerland, a central hub for data science and AI. And so that companies, they can come and learn about data science. They can participate to workshop and trainings. Our data scientists can solve business challenge. And to close the loop, we also plan to transfer these talents from our team to our industry partners.
Not a small task from what you say there. Just going further into this, right? One of the questions I was looking at is why do you think now there's a big push towards the technologies you mentioned, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and predictive analytics?
Well, that's a great question. I think it comes from a level of maturity to the related fields and technologies. Being data-driven is not new, and there are typical explanation for why now. So I think, of course, the low cost of computing power, the capacity to store large amount of data, and so on. I think in addition to this, there are two key elements. I see one is the education system. So today we really have a lot of universities around the world that really do masters in data science. So you really have a typical profile to solve these challenges in the industry. And second, I think it's also the accessibility of machine learning tools. So today it's really easy to use simple tools, to do some drag and drop and build machine learning models from scratch. I think in the end, it makes machine learning much more affordable to any company and accessible to a large audience. And I think this is really one of the key reasons why today it's really the time for such approaches.
Definitely, we see data science is making big waves and helping a lot of organizations out. You mentioned just in the previous comment that, and from reviewing the information on the Swiss Data Science Center, you mentioned that you target non-data-driven companies. In your opinion, what characteristics identify an organization as a non-data-driven organization?
Well, I think there is no strict definition for data-driven. I think, therefore, you have different. There is a bit of subjectivity into it. There are common scales, like you can think of the one proposed by Tom Davenport in competing on analytics, and, for example, going from no analytics at all to analytical competitor, and you can try to put your company in this scale. I think this is quite interesting, but again, here it's very hard to have something which is really objective. I think what is interesting is to think about some aspects or typical indicators that will tell you where you are. You can think of are there key decisions in the company that are taken without the use of data? Then it maybe means you're not that much data driven. Or do you spend a lot of amounts of time trying to sell your data projects? If there is no data literacy at the executive level, or if the data is still kept in silos, then these are good indicators of the fact that it's maybe not a data-driven company. Now, again, to be honest, I think there is only a very few number of companies that are really fully data-driven. And the point is not really, where you are or if you really want to reach the top, but rather the fact that there is still a way to improve in that scale.